Welcome back. So this may possibly be the best perk to use on a Modern Warfare gun in the new Pacific map. Now, I have multiple reasons for saying this. First of all, we all understand what it's like to be in the field circles, and Pacific seems to be a lot more like that. It's going to be a lot more open fields. Imagine being in like the northern parts of Verdansk or in the western border of Verdansk, where there's a lot of herbage. That looks to be what it's going to be like in the Pacific map. So I want to talk about the Recon perk. There's a couple of ways that you can improve your situation if you're going to be out in a forested area, but this perk may be the best option for you to do. Some of the things you can do is, before you get into that area, find a spotter scope. You can find smoke grenades, maybe a thermal optic of some kind. Heartbeat sensors could possibly work, although a lot of times you can see a lot better than what your heartbeat sensor is going to do. If somebody's in a bush, though, it's not going to be able to help you, but a spotter scope would, even with cold-blooded. But there's different things that you can do to help in situations where you're out in the middle of a field. High alert is an option. I can go on and on about different things that could work. However, the Recon perk is possibly one of the best things that you can put onto a weapon. Now, the Recon perk obviously allows you to see further. The reason why I'm not doing anything right now is because I just want to explain this real quick before I get into the examples, into the footage. It allows you to see further. If you're in a bush, it allows you to see through the bush somebody's nameplate. If you have a reticle that lines up with the label above the name, then you can use the label above the name instead of using the reticle the way we typically would. I'm going to show a few examples, but this could possibly be a viable option if you want to use this. This could be something also to look out for. Here's some clips of me shooting through bushes that I wouldn't otherwise be able to see. The Recon perk gives you some range in that it allows you to take gunfights that you normally shouldn't take, but it allows you to do that with an optic that is a much shorter zoom. Right now I'm taking fights that I'd feel more comfortable taking if I had like a 3 times or something like that. But with the Recon perk, I'll be able to take those fights a little bit cleaner. It gives you a little bit more versatility. There's 3 maps. There's 3 maps in Modern Warfare that allow you this kind of herbage kind of landscape where you're in like a forest setting. These are good to practice with, but the Recon perk could be a game changer. In Modern Warfare, the perk extends to about 50 meters, roughly. I think it's about like 45. But there are some very interesting aspects of the perk, some peculiarities. First of all, it does not work in Rebirth. I've tried it multiple times. I cannot get the perk to proc. I've tried different optics. I've tried a sniper. I cannot get the Recon perk to function. It does, however, work in Verdansk, from what I can tell. In Verdansk, if you have a reflex sight, it'll give you it'll proc at about 90 meters, which is a pretty sizable amount. And if you have a hollow sight, I think I got it to go to about 130. The way I measured this was by waiting for somebody to drop in and pinging them so I can know about how far they were. But either way, I have a couple of examples here that I want to show you of in Plunder how effective it could be. Let me get to those real quick. Okay, so here's a simple example. I end up laying in a bush, and in the Pacific map I assume there's going to be plenty of bushes, and I'm able to see him even though typically I wouldn't be able to see him. It'd be too much greenery in my way, and I'm able to take some shots at him. He ends up staring straight towards me, but he has no clue where I'm at. I'm also using a integrated suppressor on my barrel, so he can't see any of the tracers. So I'm able to keep just taking shots at him, and he really doesn't take a single shot back at me.
Hostile dropping into the area. Watch the skies.
Okay, I want to say two more things before I get to the last clip. Now, the Recon perk doesn't have to necessarily be used in the way that I'm showing you right now. You only need about one on your team, and it identifies a little bit easier anybody hiding in a bush. I know that in a lot of the Twitch rivals, whenever they get into the open fields, everybody just lays in bushes, and you know that's what the pros do because that's what works. Because when you're in these kinds of situations, there's nothing really you can do. So this perk helps mitigate that a little bit. If you know that the circle is going to be going to somewhere where there isn't that much cover, it's going to be a lot of bushes, a lot of trees, you might throw this perk on so you have a little bit a better chance to see people. The next thing is that if anything else, if nothing else, this perk helps you a little bit with centering. You're able to practice your centering a little bit more. Even when you're not aimed down sight, you're constantly trying to use this perk by finding people in bushes, and it's a very big help with your centering. But here's the last clip, just me and this guy in a long-range gunfight, and at the very end I'm able to see him when I don't normally think that I would have. I'm able to take a slight advantage and see him first. But that's going to be the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed the Recon perk.
Enemy soldier incoming.
One final note, if you haven't been convinced yet, try just placing it on a pistol for a second.